All right, guys, here we are today. We are in southern Alberta, just off Highway 1. There's a spot out here. It's been abandoned, I don't know, for quite a long time, and I've been wanting to check this place out for like uh, over 2 years. I just never have. And even right here, so we're gonna hop over this old rickety barbed wire fence. There's natural gas pipeline. There's nothing that says no trespassing, so we're just gonna undo the loop and jump over the fence here and then re-loop it up on our way back. Everybody's like, watch out for the rattlesnakes around here. And I've been hiking out here for, like I said, lots of years, and I've never ever, well, not out this particular spot, but other than Dinosaur Provincial Park in southwestern Alberta. You can see if I lift up you see it way over there. There's an abandoned property. So we're just gonna take you on this little journey here. Being very careful to listen for anything rattling. I don't know if there's a creek between here and there. I'm not exactly too sure. Prairie cactuses. They can get pretty big around sagebush here. Some sage. This is the they call it prairie desert land. I know for like miles and miles and miles. There's not really a whole lot out here. And then that highway there, that's Highway 1, that's Trans-Canada Highway. So today we are just outside of Medicine Hat, Alberta. This is definitely pasture, like for somebody's cattle definitely graze out here. There's no signs that say no trespassing, but you know, if somebody comes along in the meantime and tells me to go, I'll go. I'm not gonna argue with them. Out here in hillbilly country, it's everybody owns a gun and their brother, so I was driving today. Twice I had a bee come in my vehicle and land on me. The first time was on the back of my neck, and I could feel something crawling on me while I'm driving. And I mean, best thing to do is to not panic. So obviously, you know, don't panic. And I looked down towards my seatbelt, and there he was, a bee with a big red bum on him, and he was, you know, like half an inch long, maybe, like just a little honeybee or something like that. But yeah, he crawled across my neck and then started crawling down my seatbelt, and I was coming to a stop to a red light, and opened up the window, pushed the seatbelt out, and just gave him a flick, and out he went, right? Little did I realize I had taken my foot off the brake. Well, my foot was lightly on the brake, and I just about rear-ended the car in front of me. So, stupid. Not paying attention, right? And then driving down the same hill again by the golf course. I ended up seeing him again there. Another bee flew in my window, hit me right on the side of the neck, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, 2 bees in one day, what are the odds? But it's that time of year too, eh? So, I mean, the bees are starting to collect their honey, and this don't look fun, but I'm gonna cross it anyway. I know there's an access point over here where you can get across this. So here we are. There's where we're going, to that abandoned house there. And there's a creek that's pretty wide here, but I'm pretty sure it narrows out a little bit further down. So once we get up this way a little bit, I know that this creek narrows out. I also know for a fact that this creek here has plenty of walleye in it. So I think this, like, maybe this week I'll get out walleye fishing here, and I was gonna do a video for that, but I don't know. I just got my license 2 days ago. I had to get renew my fishing license for this year because just it's too risky out in the prairie places for the Fish and Wildlife officers. There's lots of them around here. So here's the creek. Usually in the summertime it's not as deep as that, but I know a little bit further down we can get across, and if not, I'm just gonna walk across the water anyway. To hell with it, because I mean I came all the way out here. Feet get wet, right? This is what it is. I got another pair of shoes in the vehicle anyway. So, a bit of a trail here. But apparently the walleye fishing in this creek specifically is supposed to be really good, so it's worth coming into town and trying to fish that creek. I know up here there's somewhat, it looks like cliffs, but I think that's where it narrows up a little bit, and I'm pretty sure I can get across it. But since I don't have my phone or my camera incredibly secure on this mount, I don't intend on jumping across with it. I'm gonna end up putting it away here, so I'll pause the video and get back, because there we go. We got yummy back end of some kind of animal that's full of bugs. Probably a deer, or I'm assuming it's a deer. I'm assuming it got attacked by coyotes, because you can see the teeth marks on the bones here and that kind of thing. You can see where they've been gnawing at it. It'd be cool to find the head. I know, morbid shit, right? But whatever. Be cool to find a head and find a skull. My mom was always into that kind of stuff, and she's like, bring me the head. I'm like, yeah, if I could find something. But I had one. It gets pretty deep here. Well, that's like right here. That's got to be probably, that would be at least up to your waist deep here. So that's, and I'm wearing polarized fishing sunglasses, so I can see right into the bottom. I don't know what you guys can see on the video here. I'll have to check it out later. But I don't think the lenses on these cameras are polarized. But so be a cold swim, that's for sure. I know a lot of people kayak these. Like you can put your kayak in way out of town and kayak all through here. I know that people do quite a bit. And I think this one runs all the way in through town, and then it goes through the golf courses, which is pretty cool, because I go out golfing in the summertime quite a bit, and we always see people in kayaks, and some of them stop right on the bridge by where there's a hole there, and I think it's the 11th or 12th hole where you got to kind of golf across the bridge, and like sometimes they're stopped there when you're right in mid-swing, and last thing you want to do is have your ball sliced or bottom it and end up hitting somebody in a kayak. That wouldn't be cool. But a couple summers ago I got to see a couple of kayakers wipe out really good and end up right upside down. Freaked them out. Freaked me out, because I was like, oh my god, it was a close call. Oh, that tree is thorny. And look what is here. We got apple. spiked. I guarantee it's people out here fishing, because like I said, this creek here, people fly fishing maybe out here. I don't think there's trout that run in this creek, but I know for sure there's walleye and jack, pike that run through here. And the house I'm trying to get to is just exactly right across the creek here, so I'm gonna have to find a shallow spot to cross. I will, it's fine. I'm thinking maybe, also, it looks like a pretty cool little creek, and I always wonder this because of the price of gold, if anybody's ever gold panned in this creek. It'd be neat to try it. So I think next week I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy a gold pan from the outdoor shop, and I think I'm gonna try it out and see. It's got a really sandy bottom along here. It's pretty sandy. You can see the sand in there. And the rock, so it's probably worth it to bring a little shovel out here. Looks like it's a pretty big house too. From the highway it doesn't look that big, but from here it looks pretty big. I think I might have to walk up to the tracks over there to get across this creek. That's okay, I don't mind. Beautiful day. There's a lot of gas pipelines out here and stuff too. But yeah, I thought for sure it shallowed out a little bit up here. It looked like it from the highway, where you could probably get across. This would be a good spot to cross, but I don't know what the heck that is in there. Looks like it's an old culvert. So at one time, to get over to that house there, where we're gonna try to go and then check out that little outbuilding, there was probably a driveway or a road access out here to get to that place at one point. But when we come back, we'll be on the other side and we'll go check out that house. All right, so we're back. Never fails. I've come across all kinds of wildlife since I've been walking around here. I had 2 female pheasants and a male pheasant come out right in front of me. That would have been great video. And then we can see through here, through these 2 culverts here, this is where I gotta cross. So I gotta go kind of up and around, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try not to get onto the tracks because, you know, last thing I want is to get caught trespassing on CP rail property, but I'm gonna have to get up and around it, which is super easy. I could just go up and over, not a problem, and then back down. So I'm gonna do that to get back down and then walk about probably about a half a kilometer back the other way. So I'll get on doing that, and once I get up and over this, I'll get back to you guys. All right, well, I made it up and over. Now we're gonna head towards that abandoned house and go check it out. So it's about another 3/4 of a click. We're on the other side of that creek. Really wasn't that bad getting up and around those 2 culverts. It was pretty easy. Go check it out, see if there's an old well we can look down, like in the old video or the other video I posted of that abandoned farmhouse. You can tell really the old road used to go up this way, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming there was a way across here up to the highway where the people would come to get out to their home at one point. Yeah, there's tons of history out here. This place, especially agriculture, farming. A lot of people come out here hunting, you can tell. Find empty shell casings, empty shotgun shells. I just had my first mosquito of 2050 or 2015. Right, I wish. First mosquito of 2025 land on me just now. Not surprised though. All the bugs seem to like me today. They're all hungry for my Italian blood. And there we go, around that side. Hey, you know, like an old wise man once said, if there's a will, there's a way. What we'll do is I'll bring you guys back when I'm a little bit closer to that place. I know it looks like it's like right there, but it's good. Half a kilometer walk. So yeah, here in the prairie lands, you can see how it gets flat, and then there's these hills here. So during the last ice age, about 12,000 years ago, all this was carved out by huge glaciers that receded east. They came east and went all the way towards the Rocky Mountains. And it's a weird thought, but believe it or not, this used to be treed like forests here, but because of erosion and farming, and then of course the human aspect, all of that stuff got eroded down. I'm sure this was a farm, obviously, at one time out here. And what's left now is this tiny little creek. When from that side where the Trans-Canada Highway is, even further to this side here was a river. And what I'm walking on now is an ancient riverbed, which also in itself could prove to have gold in the ground here. I don't know if anybody's ever tried to dig and pan and look, because I know it's mostly sand out here, so you can definitely tell that. Alright, so we're gonna get on with our exploration over here. I see some stuff, a pile of stuff. It's always cool to check out piles. You never know what you're gonna find, you know? Just an old pile of steel, which is good hiding place for rattlesnakes, if there are rattlesnakes out here. I haven't seen any or heard any, so I got a pretty good ear for that kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure this was an outbuilding, maybe even another house at one time, because you can see down here there's a sink and some other steel stuff kicking around. Up here. Here. Alright, so we're gonna go check out this outbuilding, this shed here. I see some graffiti on the side of that old house there, so I know that there's obviously been people out here. I mean, being out here, you know, there's been people. That was an interesting bird call. How long ago, like say 70 to 100 years ago, this was probably farmed and somebody probably lived out here. Although you can see, so like, all types of things in here. Old tires. Oh, there's an old can down there. A newer looking bucket, so, and then some old blades up there, which, yeah, if those fell on you, that would be pretty. Oh, okay, there we go. So when I tapped on the floor, I could hear a slithering. Yeah, I could hear a slithering under the floor, so there's snakes over here. I'm not too worried about them. They don't scare me because I'm just not afraid of them. Even the rattlesnakes out here, they can't hurt you. They're just, they got really small poison glands, and I mean, I'd be able to get back to my vehicle and get to the hospital. But up there, on that shelf, you can see those old blades. I mean, and they're rusty. So, like, that's a death trap. I ain't even going over there. But I don't know where that snake is. They do that just to hear him. That's my rattle. Hey, I'm coming in. But I'm not going to bother going in there, because if those rusty blades fell on you, wouldn't be a very good time. I'm going to go in here and look. See if I could see that snake. I heard him. I want that old can. There's some old mint out here too. not an old can. It's a muffler. A muffler or something. The thing about places like this is you got to be really careful, because I've never been out to this one before. So what you really got to do is you really got to watch out for wells, eh? Lots of old wells out here, like at that other abandoned property. This building's super old. It's got to be at least 100 years old. There's an old pan in there, like an old wash pan, bullet holes in an old bucket, so you can tell that there's people out here hunting. And somewhere there's a modern bucket over there, like probably from the last few years. Somebody probably camped out here, maybe even like hunted out here and camped out here, probably is what I'm thinking. Because I mean, that happens quite a bit out here. In that corner over there, that looks like an old bottle cap, like an old one of those old collectible bottle cap type things. So we'll have a quick look. There's a lot of goose poop around here, so I know there's lots of geese right in there. See it right here. Right there, it looks like a bottle cap, and like a super old speaker, probably from like the 1960s. What I like to do is look for old bottles and stuff and bring them home and wash them up, and I collect them. But it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of really anything in this old building out here. This is like an old shed, old storage shed. Little house on the prairie type old. But okay, we're gonna go this way and we're gonna go in and check out this house. But yes, as I film, I don't usually and as I record, I don't usually look down at the phone a lot when I'm out at these places, because I'm trying to keep an eye on the ground. Like, I can tell people have been here. I couldn't even tell you the last time somebody was out here, probably a long time ago. But this is the outside from a glance. Doesn't even look like there's a basement in there. It looks like just like an old storage basement where somebody has like broken the blocks to get in it. But if I go out a bit this way and show you the whole side of the house, you can see all the graffiti on there. Juner 24, so last year somebody was out here. By the looks of the graffiti and the art, it almost looks like maybe if I had to guess, probably people that used to ride the trains, hobos, recent hobos maybe, even old-timey hobos, probably stayed in this house after it was abandoned, because I mean, it's pretty close to the tracks. It's really not that far to go if you want to get in or onto a train. I don't do it. I wouldn't do it. Train riding's just not for me. But you can see all the bullet holes in there. Somebody definitely has taken lots of shots at this old house. I can count at least 50 bullet holes in the side of this house. Maybe it was an old gangster hideout in the 1920s. During the old moonshine days. Because the tracks are pretty close, and those tracks have been there probably since the moonshine days at least. So they've been there a long time. Alright, so there's the way in. Have to kind of get up a little bit to get in there. But we're gonna go inside. So I just gotta figure out how I'm gonna get inside. I might not even have to go inside. This place is over 100 years old, easy. You can tell by the wood. And then by they'd parged like a concrete plaster type stuff over top of the wood years ago. Big chunk of barbed wire right in the doorway, right where I gotta go in. I am gonna get up in here and I will take you guys, right? It's just a tiny little house, like a two-bedroom farmhouse type deal. So we'll get up and go inside here. When we come back, I'll give you guys a tour around. I just got to get up and in. All right, we're in. So first of all, we have an old fridge here. It looks like an old chest fridge, an old stove, some old furniture. You can see the back in there, the bullet holes in the wall. That's where they came in, ripping in from. And it looks like a 308. That size round for sure. It's a big round. I don't know why people would be out here. Huh. Oh. You see in the fridge here. Fridge is full of bullet holes. It's either a 30-30 or a 308. And this really old fridge is an old Tim Hortons cup over there. Looks like it's probably from like the 1980s Tim Hortons cup. What happened is they came in here and they trashed the place. People came out here and partied, or like I said, it was hunters out here. Some pretty modern. There's some clothes out here, and I think we get the idea of what some people probably do out here. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. There's an old couch cushion, old couch out here, or sofa, or chair. But out here we have an old. It's not even that old actually. A Monster energy drink. I'm assuming probably people hunting. There's some bones in here, but I don't think it's from people. I think they're just like old animal bones. There's no way into the basement, so I think there used to be as a matter of fact, I think it's just a crawl space underneath this house. I'm not gonna go check it out because I don't do crawl spaces. I do abandoned houses and stuff, but I'm not interested in doing going into a crawl space of a house that's like over 100 years old, because I don't know, there could be like coyotes, definitely snakes, and I mean, yeah, I'm not afraid of snakes, but I don't want to run into a rattlesnake. There's like an old pillow and some old bedding out here, and 2024 right there on the wall. So Junior 24, I don't know, whoever that is, shout out to Junior 24, came out here and tagged the inside of this place quite a bit. You see the old chimney center screen on the blue part there that they wrote on. That's probably where the old wood stove was at one point. And then looking out this way, we get back to that old property. You can see out there near the highway. It's a good little jaunt to get out here. I was quite surprised. I'm just lifting it up with my foot to see. The floor is not wobbly, so I'm just thinking that part that looks like a basement is probably just an old crawl space. All right, so we're gonna go back through the house's skeleton. We're gonna walk through a wall that once stood. Being careful to not get cut by these rusty old nails. Not my idea of a good time. Yeah, so I can honestly say I know for a fact nobody's ever done a YouTube video of this place. So then going back here, there's a like more modern day water bottle. There's some twine out here. Oh, this is an old timey ironing board. I don't know, here, I'll try to get it better. I'll put it in the frame here. So look right straight down here. This is an old timey ironing board. This is old school. This has got to be probably with the square bolts like that on it. 1920s to the 1950s. Somebody would have used an ironing board like that. There are birds in here. I can hear them up in the top there. So this probably would have been the living room. Obviously that would have been the kitchen because there's a chimney in there. This would have been like a living room, and then there's another chimney up there. So that could have been another part where they had the stove. And walking into this room here, this probably would have been a bedroom. So like where that chair is, one bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, kitchen, living room. And that was these basic type farmhouses back in the day. Like back in the early part of 20th century. You see the old bricks. And I guarantee you those old bricks are from IXL, the old IXL brick plant that was in Red Cliff, Alberta. That is in one of the videos I did here on YouTube. But I guarantee you those bricks came from IXL. There's no markings on them, so I can't really tell. But as old as this place is, it wouldn't surprise me. This is old. We're looking back out into the prairies, and I am parked way over there. So it's a good probably 3-kilometer hike back to the vehicle. But it was worth it to come out here. I've never been out here before. I see it all the time from the highway, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna film the place because I've always wanted to come out and film this old place and see what it's like. I might go down and, like, when I jump out of here, I'll show you guys that crawl space in the basement, but I'm definitely not going in there because who knows what's in there. Really hard to say. Could be anything. Dead bodies? Don't think so. Unless somebody's really stupid to hide a body out here. Never know. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna head out. Head on down the trail. That's a really cool ironing board though. It's really neat. I'd love to take it home and restore it. It would be really cool to restore something like that and have it in like the garden or something. It'd be really neat to restore, but you know, it's kind of a modern place, so they're, you know, I'd probably say, well, like into the 60s and 70s, because this is a gas appliance out here, so they had gas running out here at one point. I mean, a fridge with a freezer, so it wasn't the old blocks. But I'm coming over here and I'm looking at this brick here, and it says ACP on it. So, like, I have to do a little more research to find out what ACP brick company is. Alberta. I'm assuming it's Alberta something. Alberta Production Company, maybe. And then we have a Miller Genuine Draft can. This can has got to be from, if I take a guess, probably 1990s maybe. Well, if you see a date on there, let me know. There's no expiration date on there. But cool. All right, we're gonna jump out of here and like I said, head on down the trail. There's also a Coors Light can down there too, but I'm not interested in picking it up because just about everything in here is coated in bird poop. I mean, it's to be expected. It's been an abandoned prairie house for, you know, and that chimney is full of birds' nests, kind of like in that other abandoned house too. Then there's the attic, which I don't really think there was ever really much in the attic, unless somebody had a bedroom up there. And in the old days, maybe that's where the, you know, maybe the farm hand slept or whatever. So I'm sure this was a farm out here. There had to have been, at one point, there had to have been a barn out here on the property somewhere, which obviously over the years, you know, and with the progression of the town, like the city limits and stuff like that, is pretty close to here, less than 2 kilometers away. But so, all right, we're gonna jump down and we're gonna go have a check out of the crawl space. I'm not crawling in, but we'll go check it out. So here's the inside of the crawl space. Like I said, it's just a very, very basic crawl space. You can see down on that end There's some more modern cut wood in there where they had to probably jack up the floor, jack up the house at one point, because I mean it probably would have sagged over time. And the floor in here is all sand. Like I said, this used to be a riverbed, an ancient riverbed in this area. So, but there's also dinosaur bones here too. I know there is, because people find them in the hills here all the time. Definitely, like, see, I just picked up this rock, right? And if you look at it, you can see something inside the rock, and it goes pretty deep. I'm not gonna say that's granite, but that looks like some kind of a fossil even. It looks like some kind of a bone, because you can see it right inside the rock, which is neat. So yeah, there is no well out here. That's where I was just checking out into the crawl space under there. We're gonna head on back down that way, and then we're gonna head all the way back across the tracks way over there and hike the equal distance of this house back to the vehicle, which is about a 3.5 kilometer hike. That's okay though, beautiful day. So all right guys, thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys check out the video, and I hope you guys like it. This is a new one for me. This summer, I'm going to head to Cypress County. There is a property out there where there's about 4 or 5 abandoned buildings that I am going to check out this year and do a video of. So we'll do that this year. Again, maybe in a week or 2, we'll head out there, because there's still apparently snow on the ground, because the elevation in Cypress County, or in that area, is about 1,600 feet above sea level, so it's still a little bit chilly and snow on the ground. But yeah, it amazes me looking at the house too while I'm talking. Sorry, I get kind of off there, and just to see all the bullet holes inside this thing, it reminds me of one of them old movies. Uncle Al's hiding out in there with all of his buddies, doing an old moonshine run. And the law comes up and on horseback, nice and quiet like, and they're peeping out the window. Look, I see the cops. See the cops where? Out there on horses. Out there on horses where? Then the shooting begins. Firefight back and forth between the old moonshiners and the law. But I don't think that happened here. I think this is just an old farmhouse in Canada. So where moonshining was legal back in the old days. It's not like the States, in the southern state, the United States, where it's highly illegal, and even today. But if this had anything to do with moonshine era moonshining, because like I said, the train tracks are just over there, it's very possible, because there were old tunnels in Medicine Hat and also in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, where they did running back in the old Prohibition era. And Uncle Al had his finger in every single operation in Canada. So it was very interesting. This summer, I'd like to get out to Moose Jaw and do a video of those tunnels. Apparently, they have a bar down there inside the tunnels in Moose Jaw where you can try different flavors of whiskey and different Prohibition era moonshine that they have up over there. So that'd be pretty cool to try that out. Try some different types of moonshine and all that kind of thing. Although I'm not that huge of a, I don't like hard alcohol too much. And I'm kind of shying away from the wobbly pops. I don't really drink a whole lot of beer anymore. I've been hitting the gym like every day, just about, for the last 5 months. So I've been kind of leaning off the drinking. Although it's karaoke night tonight, so who knows. All right, everyone. Until next time, we're here at the old abandoned farmhouse and property. I'd like to bid you guys adieu, farewell, bonsoir, all that good stuff, and a ciao. And until next time, Just be yourselves, love one another, be good to each other.